Good morning or afternoon, depending on when you're watching this. Today we're going to go ahead and we're going to learn how to find a missing number. But before we start out, I want you to take time to title the top of your next page in your math journal, find the missing number, and title your table of contents, find the missing number. And then please go ahead and copy down this formula. Percent over 100 equals is over of. Pause now and write this down. Okay, so if we are trying to find a missing number, so we have our formula here, we're just gonna leave that up here, but I'm gonna write percent over 100. We learned that percent always goes over 100. And our percent is going to be our part of our whole. So we have the part is the percent to the whole, which is 100, because the percent is out of 100. So if we had 50%, 50% is the part of the whole. And then up here you will notice it says is over of. So on this you're going to put a line over to the side and write is over of right below it, and the is the part and the of is the whole. This will make more sense in a minute. Make sure you copy that down. Again, so we have part to whole, percent out of 100. So if I had 50% out of 100, my 50 is my part, my 100 is my whole. But if I have my is over of, this part of my fraction, let's say I have 5 cookies out of 7. So if I had 5 out of 7 that are chocolate chips, so I have 5 cookies is my part of my total cookies, which is my whole, would be 5 of 7. So we're going to take this formula that we have and we're going to do an example of how to find a missing number. So if I have the example 90% of 20, 90% of 20. The first thing you're always going to do is you're going to go ahead and you're going to start out with your formula. You're just going to write percent over 100 equals, and then put your fraction bar is over of off to the side. Percent over 100 equals is over of. And then what you're going to do is you're going to fill in the blanks. I'm going to kind of break things apart. So let's look at our 90%. We have to plug in our numbers, 90%. Well, the percent sign kind of gives it away on where it should go. The percent sign is 90%, so it's going to go over the 100 because it has this percent sign there, and you're just kind of matching it up. And then we have of 20. Well, 20 is going to be my whole because it's of 20, so my 20 is going to go down here. So I have 90% of 20. So how many, let's pretend these are cookies, how many cookies of those 20 are, let's say, sugar cookies, right? So what's that number going to be? So since we don't know that number, we're going to plug in what's called a variable. I'm just going to use the letter X as my variable. A variable is our unknown. That's what we're trying to figure out, okay? So the first thing we're going to do, I'm going to write steps off to the side. First thing we do is plug in our formula. So you're going to plug your numbers into the formula, which we did. That's going to be our first step. Again, pause this at any time to keep up. The second step we're going to do is we're going to cross multiply. So when I'm asking you to cross multiply, I'm looking, what numbers do I see that I can multiply? Well, I have my 100 and my x. I can't multiply that because I don't have a number for my x yet. So, but what I do know is I have my 90 and my 20. So I can cross multiply because there's two numbers. So we're just looking for where do we see two numbers that we can multiply. We don't know what x is, so we can't do that. So we're gonna have to use the two numbers that we have. So the first thing we're gonna do is cross multiply. So we have 90 times 20, and that equals 180. So the first step we did after we plugged in our numbers was cross multiply. And then our last step is going to be divide. Well, what do we divide by? We divide by what is left. And what I see left is my 100. That's what's left. We can't divide by x because we don't know what x is. So we take our 180 and we divide by 100. And that gives us 18. So x, our variable, our unknown, is 18. So again, if I said I had 20 sugar cookies, or 20 cookies, and 90% of them are sugar, how many is that? Well, I have 18 cookies that are sugar cookies. Again, pause if you need more time. Slide it up. Let's try some more examples. Now I have 75% of 32. So what is 75% of 32? So the first thing I do is I write out my formula and plug it in. So again, I'm going to do percent over 100 equals, there's my fraction bar, is over of, right? I don't know what my is over of is yet. So I'm doing percent over 100 equals is over of. That's my formula. It never changes. So first I look to see what is my percent. Again, I'm going to match it up, 75%, so the percent sign gives it away. I'm going to plug it in here. And it's kind of like clues. You have to figure it out. Of 32, my of word tells me that I match it up down here. So of 32, 32 goes on the bottom. And I'm going to just plug in a variable of x for my unknown. I do not know what that is. Excuse me. So then my second step said to cross multiply. Well, I can't cross multiply 1 and 100 because I don't know what that is. So I'm going to cross multiply what I do have, which is 75 times 32. Now you can use calculators for this, that is fine. But I'm going to tell you that 75 times 32 is 2,400. And the last step says to divide. Well, divide by what's left over. I didn't use 100 yet. That's what's my left over. So now I'm going to do 2,400 divided by 100 equals 24. So my x equals 24. My unknown, my variable, is right there, so that's 24. So 24 out of 32 is 75%. Again, pause if you need to keep up. Let me try some more problems. Try to make sure I keep it in frame here. Next, I have 10% of 110. So what is 10% of 110? Again, write out my formula. Percent over 100 equals is over of. I just kind of put it in parentheses here. Percent over 100 equals is over of. And now my first step is to fill in my formula. take my sentence 10%, my math sentence 10% of 110 and plug it in. So I know this is 10%. The percent sign gives it away that it goes in the percent. So I put 10 over 100 because it's 10% of 110. So I'm going to put 110 down here on the bottom. And again, I don't know what it is yet. So I'm going to put for my is my x. So now I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to multiply. Cross multiply. It says 10 times 110. And that equals 1,100. And my last step says to divide. So 1,100. Oops, I wrote the wrong color. Oh well. Divided by what's left over, the 100, equals 11. So my x, my unknown, x equals 11. And that makes sense because 10% is not a whole lot out of 100. So 11 out of 110, that makes sense. If I ended up with a number like 85 out of 110, that would make sense that it's not possible because it's only 10%. Okay, I'm going to give you another problem and I want you to pause it and see if you can do it on your own. The next problem is 30% of 75. What is 30% of 75? Go ahead and set up your problem. Percent over 100 equals is over of, my part, my whole. Pause here and see if you can solve this on your own. Again, you can use a calculator to help you. So I'm going to see how you did. Thank you for pausing it and trying it. I'm going to plug in 30% above the percent of 75. 75 goes on bottom, and I don't know what my is, so I'm going to put a variable there. And you should have multiplied the two numbers we have, which are 30 times 75. That equals 2,250. And then you should have divided by 100. So 2,250 divided by 100 equals 22.5. So x, my unknown, is 22.5. And it's okay, you're going to end up with some decimal answers in your homework, and that's okay. You will end up with decimal answers. Hope you got it right. Now, how does this work in real life? Why would we want to know what 30% of 100 is? Well, let's look. Let's say we're going shopping. We're going to take two scenarios. We're going to go shopping and we're going to save 15% off $20. So my total bill is going to be $20 for, let's say, I don't know, a shirt, right? And I want to buy the shirt, and the shirt is $20, but they're offering 15% off. And I want to know how much money I'm going to save for that shirt. So again, you're going to set up your problem. Percent over 100 equals is over of. Plug in our values. 15, there's my percent. 15% goes on the percent of 20 goes down below. And I want to know, how much money am I going to save? So go ahead and cross multiply. 15 times 20, that equals 300. Hopefully you're doing this as we go. I'm trying to pause here to give you some time. And then 300 divide by what's left over, which is 100. So 300 divided by 100 equals 3. So I would say that my X is, let's say it's $3. That's how much money I'm saving off of that shirt. So let's look and see, how would I figure that out? Okay, so I had a discount of 15%. So if my shirt was $20 and I have a discount, that means I'm going to get to save some money. So I'm going to subtract the $3 because that's what I'm saving. And my shirt now costs me, $17. There you go, 17. Oh, that's kind of messy. Let me do this. But what if I was going out to eat? Let's say I go to Casa de Bendini and I order something yummy for my tummy and it costs me $20. And the service there is really good, so I'm going to give a tip of 15%. Well, I found out, let me move this over here. There we go, then we can see it better. So I'm going to give a tip of 15% on $20. Well, now you would add the $3 because if you're giving a tip, you're giving them extra money because you're saying you did a good job. Now my bill would be $23. So you can use this way of finding out how to save money on a shirt or add money to a tip. There's lots of ways you can use this in real life. So go ahead, and when you're finished with your notes, you're going to go ahead and work on today's assignment. And again, you will have some decimal answers in your answers, and that's okay.